Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport with me, Jamie Davis, and I'm delighted to be joined by Luke Tanner and Seb True on Let's Talk Sport. We haven't had Seb on for a while. I mean, we miss his beautiful Swiss face. Of course, no Roger Federer, but he'll do good as our second man. Anyway, today we're actually trying out something new on the channel. We're doing a stay or go. So basically, we're looking at certain players that have been mentioned in the transfer rumours, and we're going to pretty much share our thoughts on whether they're going to stay at their current club or leave the club this summer. So, lads, are you ready? Let's talk about, let's be honest. Okay, a bit biased here, but let's talk about the one that everyone's going on about, the Englishman, Jadon Sancho. He's obviously only 20 years old. Everyone keeps going on about him, about what he's done at Borussia Dortmund. But, let's start off with you, Seb. We saw him in Germany, didn't we, play for Dortmund?
We did, in Berlin, yeah. We saw him play.
And he did score.
Yeah, he did score that match, didn't he? The win against Hertha Berlin, I think. Yeah. I don't understand how Man United could get him. That's my main concern. Borussia Dortmund won't let him go for more than 100 million. For less, than 100 million. So I've heard that Man United's budget will be 140 million. So if that's getting all these players that we hear of, how can they afford Sancho? I don't think it's viable. And plus, is there any rush? He's just turned 20.
Yeah.
I think he could stay. I think he could stay another year. Yeah. Especially with the Dortmund project that they invested in last year. They brought in Hazard, Brandt last year. They're trying to build something. They brought Haaland in January. I don't see any harm in staying. He's going to play Champions League next year anyway. And he's still young.
It's funny, Luke, because the more I think about the whole Sancho transfer rumours, the more I think he'll stay for another year, just like Seb said, because at the end of the day, he is young. But it's so easy to jump on a bandwagon, isn't it? Because of his stats at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a one-off, but you know sometimes it's best to keep an eye on a player a bit longer and just see if he does it again next season. And who knows, the value could either go lower or higher. But either way, for Dortmund, it could be a win-win situation.
I think they had contract renewals earlier in the season, and I think it was clear Sancho was unwilling to sign a new bumper contract like Dortmund wanted. So I think obviously it's been pretty clear that Dortmund will not settle less for anything than 100 million euros. Fabrizio Romano said that Dortmund would actually take 87 million pounds. That is the asking price that Dortmund want for Sancho.
But he's got 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah,
they leave this till next year. 21-year-old, if he doesn't, 17 goals and assists again in the season. They can't surely ask for 120 million euros or pounds or whatever. With 1 year left on his contract, they surely can't. So for a player so good at 21, it could be a good thing to wait a year. Could be a good thing for him too.
Well, I don't know really, because I feel like that if Sancho's going to go to United, it's got to be this summer. Because obviously United got loads of money. This is the prime opportunity to jump ahead and get back to challenging for the league. And Sancho is probably that missing piece for the right wing. And since every other club is worrying about COVID, because obviously Liverpool, we pulled out for Werner due to financial issues. This is United's perfect opportunity, because we all know United have got money to burn. Regardless what the financial environment is, they are money makers. They will print money through merchandise.
Taken out. It's been said that that's not even for transfers. This 140 million pound loan. That's apparently just to balance the books.
Well, can I also mention as well what we heard earlier today, that United actually came out and said they wouldn't spend more than 50 million on Sancho. So is that, Luke? There's two ways I see it. It's either a tactical move or it is to save money, and to just basically say to Dortmund, we haven't got the funds that you're asking for.
Well, if it is tactical and it comes off, then my God, what Edward would need a bloody statue outside of Old Trafford.
I never thought I'd hear that.
What did they do with Maguire last year? Do you remember?
80 million. Yeah,
that's why I can't.
But they were playing with Leicester for a long time before that.
Leicester just
well, they wouldn't settle. So maybe with
Leicester
these
did not
times,
budge.
they might settle. Who knows?
I feel like Leicester didn't budge last year. I wouldn't imagine Dortmund are gonna budge again. But I think with Maguire, I think like he had like a longer term deal. I think he had longer than 2 years, so they could hold out for the mega money. But I feel like if Sancho stays another year, I think he won't go to United next year. Because by then, the financial landscape would have changed. You would really see the likes of Liverpool sort their feet out. My theory is that if he doesn't go to United this summer, I think he'll go to Liverpool next summer on the promise that one of the front three is going to get sold and he's just going to slot straight in. Because there's no point of him joining now for mega bucks for him just to sit on the bench. Because there's no point. He might as well stay at Dortmund for another year.
Lads, let's wrap up this one then quickly. Luke, is he going to stay or go this summer?
I think he's going to stay.
Seb?
I think he's going to stay too.
He's going to stay. I think I'm going to have to agree. So that's 3 stays, as much as I hate to say it. Next one is Barcelona player Antoine Griezmann, who, while we record this, he's up against his old club in a few hours' time against Atletico Madrid. And Seb, let's start with you. Griezmann's had a bit of criticism since the move. When the transfer happened, I was quite gutted. I was hoping he was going to stay because to me, he looked like the leader. He looked like a man who had a mission still to complete by winning a European Cup with Atletico Madrid.
I honestly believe that when they bought him for 120, there was that clause in his contract. I thought it was good business. And I still believe there's potential for Griezmann in the Setien team. I mean, he plays with a 3-5-2 system, which is more different, interesting. But someone like Griezmann, rather than a dating Suarez or Messi, I think is more efficient in one of those systems with his movement than someone else. I think Griezmann's a perfect man for the system that he is trying to implement. Now that is whether Setien stays or not. If they bring in Xavi next year and they revert back to a 4-3-3, then I don't think he's got a role there. But while Setien is the coach of Barcelona, I think he has got a big role to play.
Yeah,
and I don't think anyone else could afford him because his salary is immense.
It's immense.
But also, Barcelona would want to get all of that 120 million back, especially given their financial situation, because they've just sold Arthur to Juventus just to balance the books. I mean, it's morally wrong, but it's all within the rules, and it's a bit sickening to see.
Luke, I mean, the way I see it, I think there is a bit of impatience towards Griezmann from maybe some critics and fans and all that. But at the end of the day, we know he's a world-class player. We know he can bring the goods to the pitch. You know, sometimes it's just a bit of a slow start for some players. But I believe he's had, I don't know if it's true. You just read about it in the paper. But he's had problems with Messi, I think. He's had arguments. I'm not sure. I've no idea.
Surely, the second you've had problems with Messi, you're done.
That's what I mean. Like, is that the signs of why he might have been linked to leaving?
Yeah, probably. Because when you fall out with Messi, you're done. Basically, if Messi doesn't like you, that's it. Shout out to Atletico's negotiator, because to get that amount of money for Griezmann, who had a down year this summer, they sold him, was great business.
I think that's the thing with Atletico Madrid players. They've all got it in their clause. They've got massive release clauses, and his just went down starting from July the 1st. His was 200 million before that.
I know, but it's still great to get rid of him. He was aging. I just don't think.
I think it's still cheap.
I still think it was cheap.
I still think it's cheap.
Really
fitted in well. A big problem with it. The big problem is he's scored 8 goals in the league this season. That's well below his usual standard. And at the age of 28, there's no settling in season. You've got to hit the ground running.
Not Barca,
especially at Barca, you've got to hit the ground running. But
I
hope that they
don't think it was the right choice,
because I think it wasn't initially, but now I think with the system they're trying to implement, it is.
I think with the money they spent, they should have regenerated the squad. Because what you've noticed now after Arthur's gone, that squad is very old. Piqué's over 30, Busquets over 30, Suarez over 30, Arturo Vidal over 30, I think Messi's over 30. So that is now like getting really, really old, and they spent loads of money on Griezmann. It's not like he's going to get better. It's not like he's got another couple of gears to go up. This is probably the best Griezmann you're going to get. And the only way for Griezmann is down. And are Barca going to recoup that money? No. And plus, with big money signings with Barca, how many of them have actually worked out? Dembele, big bucks, not really worked out due to injuries or just actually Coutinho. It's not very well.
I think it's very critical to say that the selling art because he's young. I personally think he was probably the most Barca-like player who could very tightly keep the ball and was not too direct like I find
which baffles
Coutinho
me.
and Vidal were. But it's not the same Barcelona anymore. This is no longer Pep Guardiola. And there are still young players. They've got that, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Puig. They've got Longley, who's not old. They've got Fati. They have got players that are coming through that are younger. And
just not enough.
Is by far not at his peak. It's an aging Barcelona side, but they have got young talent coming through or a reasonably aged squad. Listen, Setien doesn't like Artur, and if that's the case, then
just nutmegged him.
And I mean, 80 million euros for Artur is, I mean, if you can get that amount, then top notch through the Barcelona negotiators on that hand.
Yeah,
that's good. But when you get like a 30, how old's Pjanic now? He's in his 30s. When you get Pjanic
he's 31,
in return,
I think. But this was just to balance the books.
Yeah, that was really bad business. If I was Barcelona, I'd be going Rabiot. You're not doing much. If they swapped Artur for Rabiot, I'd be like, great business. Because he's another young quality midfielder.
Rabiot's not played many games this season, and he's fallen out of favour. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Rabiot just because of his personality. I think he's played 19 games, 20 games or so this season, and it's not a great amount for a 25-year-old who's supposed to be at the peak of his game. I wouldn't have thought Rabiot would have been a great replacement. He might have been great in Barcelona's style, but I still think Pjanic is a technically gifted player.
There's still no future-proofing from Barcelona. When those old players go, there's no future-proofing to... Because by the time like Suarez goes and Messi goes, it's like Griezmann's going to be probably in his 30s, and it's like, well, can I have spent that 100-odd million better? Yeah, could probably got Sancho for that money instead of buying Griezmann or sorting out that midfield and stop relying on.
They've got high hopes in Fati, and they've also still got Dembele who's on there.
If you look at Fati's numbers when he broke through the first team, they were very similar to two other players that ended up not having such great careers, and those were called Christian Teo and Bojan. And guess what happened to them?
I think those are very unfair comparisons. Because Fati has now actually got a role at the club, whereas Bojan didn't, and Teo, the
stats when they broke through were very similar. Their breakthrough seasons were very similar.
Well, lads, we could talk about this all night, I'm sure. But just quickly, Seb, Griezmann, will he stay or go?
Oh, he'll stay, definitely. I'm almost certain that he'll stay.
Oh, definitely stay. There's no way they're shifting him.
No, I have to agree. I'd say we'll stay as well. An Englishman again, Jack Grealish. Now, I've just checked recently. He is linked to Man City now, apparently. This is if they sell Leroy Sané. So, obviously, Aston Villa are on the verge of relegation. So, who knows, the price could come down on him a little bit. United, one of the favourites to get him as well. I mean, United linked to everyone, let's be honest. Luke, Grealish to United or to City? I can't see him going to United personally. I can't see it happening. But, it's a player that he won't go back to the Championship, that's for sure.
No. I would not be surprised if he goes to United if they couldn't get Sancho. Like, that would not surprise me one bit.
I can't see it happening.
If they get relegated, I reckon he'd be available for around... Villa were quoting 80 million if they stayed up. I'd reckon they'd take half that. 40, 50 mil tops. I don't know if not he'd go to City. Just because Pep's got... It's like, Phil Foden's going to be my guy next year to replace David Silva. How true to his word he is, I don't know.
Is Pep even going to be there next year?
Apparently he might not be. But I feel like it's a difficult one with Grealish because he's had a great season. He's probably been Villa's standout player. That's probably because everything Villa does well, it goes through him. You've seen Grealish pick up the ball on the edge of his own box, then go dribble up the pitch to create a chance. So if he's going to go anywhere, he probably will end up at United. But the thing is, at his age, would he want to be sitting on the bench? Because that's where he's going to go. Because he's not going to start in the front three. He's not going to start on the left wing ahead of Rashford. There's no way he fits into that midfield three with Pogba, Bruno, and who's Matic, because that looks like the starting midfield. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he goes to like someone like a rung below, like someone who's not pushing for the title. I said I'd like him at Liverpool, but I don't think he'd fit in the Jurgen Klopp team. I think it was linked to Spurs when Poch was in charge.
Yeah,
I don't think it'd go to
Right.
Spurs.
I thought they could have got him really good.
Yeah,
price.
could have got him cheap. I think United could have got him cheap a few years ago. I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see where he ends up. I think he'll go to a club that guarantees him Champions League football. Don't count out Chelsea either, because Chelsea seem to be got the Muller.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he'll go, but I don't know where he'll go to. But I think he'll go if Villa get relegated.
Seb?
Yeah, but I think he has to go if they get relegated. And even if they stay up, I still think he has to go because he's a level above them.
He's too good.
I don't like the idea of Grealish at Manchester United. The thing doesn't seem to fit.
It doesn't seem right.
Free roaming left midfielder, but also roams into the centre. I don't like it at Manchester United. They've got out and out wingers at times that cut in the attacking zones. And I don't see that being exactly what Grealish wants to do on a permanent basis. I would like to see him at City. Hearing that before, I think he could do like a Bernardo Silva does. You know, he's supposed to be some sort of attacking midfielder, but that's been put out wide and can cut in and then participate a lot in play, but also give them a bit of width if needed. I think he could do that brilliantly for Pep Guardiola's side of it, especially. And the asking price of 80 million. I mean, if Villa get relegated, they can't.
Oh yeah, that definitely can't. Yeah.
That can't be. Yeah. And I think it has to be 40 million. I would also like to maybe see Jack Grealish at a Spurs side, taking up the role that Dele Alli was supposed to take up. Someone who could cover the ground, but also be that.
I think that'd be a good signing.
I think that could be even more interesting. They were linked with him last summer, which I was a bit. How to say it? I was a bit upset that they didn't attempt that hard to get Grealish. I mean, they got Sessegnon. I thought they'd get these two players from the Championship. Sessegnon was in the Premier League, but Sessegnon and then Jack Grealish, I was waiting for it, and I thought that could have just made Spurs invest a bit more in the youth, and that could take them to the next level soon. But I mean,
who knows? Who knows? But I think you're spot on, Seb. I think Spurs is the right club.
But if they can't even offer him Europa League, then what's the point?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if City get the ban, even if it's for a year. I think Jack Grealish to City probably looks the most likely.
I think
that he'd be willing
they are out of Europe.
to be out of Europe for a season. Plus, it's a big club to guarantee his England chances. Because obviously he's got to move before he wants to get in the England squad. Those attacking midfielders, those number 10s, number 8s, there's quite a lot of them in the England squad. You've got Loftus-Cheek, Barkley, Mount, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Dele Alli.
I think he's got to mainly prove that he's above Dele Alli, Mount, and say for instance,
Madison. Who else? There's the Leicester lad that can't get a cap. James Maddison.
That's why I said
James Maddison as well.
Yeah. If he goes to a place like City where they're second, then I mean he's just proving that. And if he does it at that level, then he's proving he's above all those ones. So yeah, be right with.
Overall, Luke, if he doesn't stay, which club are you going for?
I'll probably go Man United, because if they're not going to get Sancho, I think it will go.
Seb?
No, I think he'll go to City.
Go to City, okay, interesting. I have no idea. He'll go. Let's go to a Dutch player, Donny van der Beek.
Donny.
I like Donny van der Beek. I think, to be honest, I love Ajax. Any player from Ajax, in my eyes, is a treasure. Especially with what we heard last week, that Stecklenburg has gone back. They always come back. They always go back. So it's great to see. But Donny van der Beek, a few months back, he was linked to Chelsea. United, again, he was linked to them back in January. Seb, can you see Donny van der Beek going? I mean, at the end of the day, he's waiting until September to play football now.
He could. I mean, he might not go. I don't know exactly, but I think he should, and I think he could. And I think any top European club for under £40 million, which is the asking price, would be stupid not to take him.
Luke, your thoughts?
I think it'll go. I think it'll go to United. That looks like the most likely club for him. Obviously, I think United are going to shift on either Pereira or Lingard this summer, and I think it'll slot into the squad there, because I think you saw against Norwich when Pogba and Bruno didn't start, you saw the lack of quality in that United midfield. And the good thing with Donny van der Beek, he can be a sitting midfielder, he can be in a box-to-box, or he can be a number 10. So I think it'll be great for Manchester United. Reluctantly,
that's why I can see him at Real Madrid.
Yes, or Real Madrid.
Modric or the aging Cruz. I mean, I can see it being done.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think those are the two clubs they'll
sure they've got the money.
And for the price as well, I think
36 mil.
It's nothing.
It's
nothing.
bargain.
It's nothing.
That's what they're trying to get him for.
Clubs that don't have money, savvy. There's lots of savvy business to be done this summer. It's not all about your Sanchos. It's not all about the big money signings. There's going to be plenty of deals, quality deals. I mean,
why not a Wolves? They've got reasonable resources and they could be in the Champions League.
And Jimenez might be going as well.
Well, no, not Jimenez, but I mean.
Well, no, I mean the funds coming in.
It wouldn't hurt Wolves to have a centre midfielder. I mean, their centre back.
Yeah, someone that looks more mobile
at the moment. They've got great wing backs. The strike partnerships, well, a done deal at the moment with Jimenez and Traore up front. A centre midfielder who could really, I mean, you play alongside Mauricio and Neves. That'd be fascinating.
That would be pretty cool.
Absolutely fascinating to see. And I don't think they're short of cash. Wolves. They've got money and they haven't exactly spent enormously. So I think if they get in the Champions League, why not?
Plus, if he's a Mendes client,
shout out.
If he's a Mendes client, him to Wolves.
I don't think he is.
I think it's a Mina Raiola client. So, I think, yeah.
Well,
I think all go.
So, of course, we're all agreement he's going to go. So that's Donny van der Beek. Last one.
Agreement, but I think he could. I think he could stay up.
I can't see him staying. I just can't see him staying.
I think I actually going to lose that core that got into the Champions League final. You'll see half that, basically the spine of that team leave.
And what a team it was! Yeah,
half it's going to go to Chelsea.
And this one's the last one. It's a bit off script, this bit, because this is last minute. We were going to have Leroy Sané on our list, but it looks as though he's going to leave City for Bayern Munich. It's Mauricio Pochettino. Now, of course, he can't stay anywhere. He could maybe stay at home wherever he's living at the moment, but he's got to go somewhere. There's actually a picture of him and his son Mauricio actually having a contract signed at Tottenham yesterday, and he was still wearing his old Spurs top, so he clearly still loves Spurs. But Seb, he's been linked to Benfica. Pochettino at some point has got to be a manager again, hasn't he, Seb? I mean, he's a talented manager. He's got to have a job.
And I'm struggling to see who would go. I mean, I can only see, for instance, Sarri maybe leaving Juventus. I mean, I'm thinking big clubs right now. Sarri leaving Juventus, or maybe Setien leaving Barcelona. But there's the Barcelona-Espanyol link, so I don't know. I actually think the most likely option is he goes back to Spurs.
Oh, really? Yeah, interesting.
Wow. The most likely, because I don't think it's not working with Mourinho. It clearly isn't, and there's something not right there. And it's not even been a year in, and so I'm thinking that's probably most likely. I thought as soon as he left, I actually said to someone, I wouldn't be surprised if his next club is Spurs again.
Interesting. Luke, what are your thoughts?
I think he'll go to City, or depending on the transfer ban. Because if there's a ban, I think like a tier 1 journalist said that Pep's either leaving this summer or next summer. And if he leaves this summer, I think Poch will come in because he's the only world-class manager who's not in the job.
I did think at one point that he would take over at City, but what's going to happen with the new season starting? When are these managed transitions going to happen? Because Guardiola's got Champions League quarter-final to play in
I
August.
think it will happen
So
after they complete the Champions League.
He's got to play that. Yeah, but then what? Guardiola says, goodbye, I'm going. If he wins the Champions League, I don't think Guardiola will just walk like that.
I don't think City will win the Champions League.
Well, let's see. I mean,
if they don't, maybe he will leave. But then does that leave? I mean, at the end of August, September, when people are supposed to be already ready for the seasons, is that when Poch wants to come in? I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I see it a bit weird and a bit surprising.
I think the one thing I find a bit weird about this whole case that they've got to sort out with UEFA and Man City is, obviously, we never planned to have the Champions League finals and all that in August. Now, what I wondered was that if they get a ban before August, surely they shouldn't actually be competing in the remainder of the season. Don't know. That was just a thought.
I think all different. I think there are lots of asterisks besides.
I think they'll wait until the Premier League's finished.
Maybe.
I think they'll wait till the Premier League's finished because let's say Wolves get fifth. I reckon City won't get a ban at all. Because you know what UEFA's like. They don't like new clubs entering that pool of the big boys. They don't want another big boy to the table. So I think they'll get a year.
They'll get a year.
I think they'll get a year.
They didn't let AC Milan off the hook last year, and
I think AC Milan voluntarily decided not to do the Europa. I think they voluntarily went.
They didn't contest it as well, but that's a big club. The European new rules that they're trying to implement is to try and bring clubs like AC Milan back into the Champions League. But I don't think they'll just let City off with it. I don't think they will, but they will probably be a bit lenient and give them one year instead of 2.
I think they should be getting the transfer ban. For me as well, because if you've been caught to get banned from the Champions League, you must be banned from buying players.
Yeah, but these are UEFA rules. That's mainly about their own competition. They're not banned from the Premier League, for instance. It's not a whole global football institute that's going to stop them from playing football or stop them from buying players. I'm not too sure of the ins and outs, but these are only UEFA financial fair play rules. These aren't Premier League financial fair play rules either. So.
Well, lads, we'll have to put this in another video. The whole UEFA and Man City argument, that's for sure. So, you're going to say Spurs, so he is going to go to Spurs, you reckon?
I don't know. So
you don't know.
I
Okay.
have thought for a long time. There's something in me that thinks that that will be his next destination again. Because I don't see big clubs letting their managers go, and I don't see him going to either the Barcelona or Juventus, as I mentioned, could release their managers soon.
Do you know what I think?
I'd love to see him at Spurs again.
Should Juve not win the league, Sarri will get sacked.
But they will win the league.
They'll win the league. They've won the league.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think he'll go to City. I think Pep
I'd have thought similar as well, but I'm just not with the climate right now.
Should they not win the Champions
League? If the season hadn't been delayed, I'd have said yes, City. But considering what's going to happen,
City get the ban and City not to win the Champions League, I think Pep's off because there's nothing more he can do. He's had the unlimited money and still can't win it. So,
well, lads, it's been a great topics to talk about. So that's our thoughts on those players and a manager on stay or go. We'll try and do a few more of these in the future. To subscribe to our Let's Talk Sport channel, do that, and there will be more of these. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.